Hello, everybody. Xandra Gay here. How are you? Happy Tuesday night. I'll wait for some more ladies to join on, or let's see if give me a little shout out when you can hear me. Hi, Jen. How you doing? Just wanted to make sure I can see the comments. Yay! I can see. Actually, give me a comment. There we go. Hi, Jen. Yay! Glad you're there. Welcome, everyone. I'll wait for more of you to join in. But it is Tuesday. Can you guys believe it's already March 27th? March Madness is flying by, literally flying by. I can't believe it. Easter this weekend, Good Friday. People are coming and going with spring breaks and all the rest. So I'm excited to chat with you all tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'll get started in just a minute when a few more have joined. We are going to be talking about planning and strategizing. I'm a little bit of a freak about always being a planner, so I look forward to chatting with you. Lexi Johnson, hi. I have a daughter named Lexi, and we spell it also Lexi with no E. It's not the usual. Hi, Gary. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Excited to bring to you tonight some hopefully good takeaways for you guys. You can take some notes. I've got my notes all here ready to go. So as you guys are joining in, I will get this off and running. So happy March, happy end of the month. I'm sure many of you going for some big goals and going for the mobile phone ring or the light ring, as well as the Ricky mirror. So many great things to be shooting for. Such an exciting month. So welcome. Hi, Valerie. Hi, everyone. So let's get going here. So Xandra Gay here from Westport, Connecticut, lead director with the company, one of the third leg of corporate. And I'm so excited to bring to you, we're going to talk about planning and strategizing and how not to work in reaction, because I think that's a very big deal in this business. I think there's more planning and strategizing that can come to direct sales than we realize. And I think with all of the distractions, we so much work in reaction. And that means that we sit at our desks, and instead of coming to our desk with a plan, whether it's a plan that we've done for the week or a plan for the day, we literally work into a mode of just answering emails all day or answering the phone. And we don't actually really prioritize what it is we want to get done for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. And it's really important because, not everyone's in this business to kill it and maybe, get to the executive ranks, even if you're just trying to have some fun. But we all have busy lives. So if you want to work this maybe a little bit more flexibly and a little bit less stressful, more efficiently, it all takes more planning and strategizing. So who agrees with me on that? Give me a few hearts if you guys agree. Absolutely, that this really is about putting some plans into place and systems in place. So first of all, when I'm talking tonight, a lot of you, not everyone's at the same level, of course, right? So you're going to take from this what works best for you at your level, right? New beauty guides are not going to be working at the same level as an executive, of course, right? But you're going to still need to plan ahead. For example, those beauty guides, you need to make the best of your fast start. That's the key. That's the key to the business, is to get a great fast start going. And executives, you've got probably bigger teams, of course, that you've got to be coaching and overseeing your own personal business. So different levels, but hopefully everything I'm saying tonight can help you in some way. And the first thing is I want to kind of back up a little bit, because I think this might sound trivial, but I think it can really be a very big deal. And so before I ever really start planning, once I've gotten some time frames down of when I'm going to plan, you have to promise yourself, and you have to all give me hearts right now. Promise yourself that when you start sitting down to take these tips into action, that you will turn off notifications, that you will turn off your email dinging. When you're at your desk, it has to be all in on what you're doing. And it really, there's that statistic. I think they say you lose 20 minutes for every time you get up and answer an email or answer the phone. So something that I do, and again, it might sound trivial, but it changed my business in my former career. Literally changed my business. When I would sit down to do, whether it was a booking blitz or something where I needed real concentration for a block of time, I would turn off my phone, like not off as in turn off notifications, like turn it all the way off, turn off my email notifications, the ding, ding, dings. That is so distracting. You cannot get a thorough thought. Doesn't it drive you crazy? It would drive me crazy. And so I really think that that's a big deal. So promise me you will think of me when you go to sit down and do some of these, and you will turn everything off. It needs to be you and your computer. If you're doing the lists on the computer, great, but then turn your sound off. If it's, again, something where you're doing it on a notepad, turn everything off, all notifications. So that's number one. And then, so getting into your overall planning, we all know that a lot of us, we start the year we want to start with a goal, right? So in January, we always talk about, what is your goal for the year? And I think that's wonderful. We should all have a big goal for the year, but it really needs to be broken down much more than that. So if you have a goal for the year, great. And a lot of, teams will do that with their, so whether it's coaching calls or their overall, team efforts, they'll have, what are we doing for the year ahead, and really plot that out. And, I speak in an I am going to be whatever goal that I'm going for, whether it's a title or I am going to earn the Aruba trip, whatever that is. But then again, you need to set down the time to break it down a little further. And what is the best time for you to break that down? Is it on a Sunday? I personally have always found that Sundays are a great day. I like to do Sunday evenings after I've sort of had my weekend, and I like to start off the week fresh. But for example, I think that it's great to break down your year. So we've set your goal for the year perhaps, right? But then break it down by quarter. And monthly, you can sit down, you can do your quarterly goal and, really reassess throughout that quarter, but sit down and figure out a good time where you're going to have it on your calendar, whether it's going to pop up as, you're going to be your quarterly assessment and strategizing and planning. And then again, I do every week. I like to sit down, and some people do it daily. A lot of people like to sit down at the end of the day. They block out what it is that they need to accomplish the next day. They start their day with a list. And all of this strategizing and planning, whether it's on the minute level of doing it daily, weekly, quarterly, it has to be done. It will make your life feel lighter and I wouldn't say easier, but it definitely will make you feel more inspired and empowered. It makes you feel more organized, and you can see what you're going for, especially if you've got really great goals. How can you really put that plan in action when you don't know exactly what your steps are going to be to get there? So I just want to make sure I'm getting all my notes here. And if anyone has questions as we're going, I can scan through. Hi, Jenny. So I can scan through and look at your questions. But again, put it in your calendar. I have, every Sunday I do my weekly, and then again I have it quarterly. But I do have it in my calendar, ding with a notification to let me know when it is that I should be doing that and reminding me. So that's something you have to hold yourself accountable for. Making sure that you actually have it on the calendar. If you want to do monthly planning and you don't have it on your calendar, probably not going to do it. But if you have it on your calendar and you're planning out, and for some of you, give me hearts if you guys agree. Some of you are just not great with the calendar and time management. I get it. But you know what? Start now. Get out your calendar. I'm an all computer person. I have everything that goes between my desktop computer, my phone. I'm right there. I have everything linked. So that's the way I work. If you're a paper person, that's totally fine. But get out your calendar and make sure you have it where you can look months, a full year ahead of glance, have everything at a glance. So I hope that you guys can hear me. Someone said they couldn't hear me, so I hope you can hear me. Okay, so then there's the areas to focus. So when you do sit down again and you've figured out what your quarterly goals are, and then you're breaking it down also weekly, for example, you're looking at all the different buckets of our business. And I think that's the key, is think about what are the different buckets that you need to assess to get your business moving forward. We know that the business encompasses sharing and selling. We know it encompasses, your sponsoring. It encompasses your coaching, especially if you're trying to promote. It is, so sponsoring, sharing, selling, customer follow-up. There's all these different buckets of the business, and you have to really stay accountable for all of that. And again, you can get very, very nitty-gritty. I think that the Be Amazing guide, if you guys haven't really gotten familiar with the Be Amazing Guide, for those of you that are newer to the business, even if you've been in this business longer, sometimes you need to go back through this guide. It's so fantastic and full of information. Pages 26 and 27 are great guides to what your goals could be. And it, again, helps you break down the different facets of the business. So again, that can be a great guide. It's also how you can be tracking all of these efforts. And when you are, whether you're doing a spreadsheet in the computer, whether you're doing it on paper, you have to make sure that if you're going to take the time to then sit down, plan, and strategize, are you tracking that information? Making sure, again, whether it's paper, computer, but again, use these tools that you have. You have these amazing, accessible tools, so use them as much as you can. And so some examples I want to give, because I think when I put it in context, this will also help you. Again, with the holidays coming up. So if you have sat down on January 1st, for example, and you plotted out January, February, March is, Q1, then you're plotting out Q2, you need to look at holidays throughout the year. So one of the biggest buckets of things that I plan around are the holidays, because that's a huge way to encourage sales, encourage sponsoring during those times of the year. And for example, we've got Mother's Day and Father's Day coming up. Don't miss the season, right? You have to sort of plan ahead and be pushing that now. For example, there's people that are pushing for the Ricky right now. Well, you know what? Why not reach out right now in terms of, early Mother's Day, early Father's Day gifts? But you know what? Not everyone might think of that, especially if you're coaching a team. So when you are working your business strategically and planning ahead, and you know what's ahead of you in terms of the holidays by quarter, you can assess that and figure out how your Limelight business can fit into that, right? What gifts should be the men be buying? What should the women be buying? And really working that into your marketing. And we'll talk more about your marketing plan, but the holidays is a very big part of it. And it can be a huge tool in terms of, uplifting sales, doing pop-ups. Again, if you're trying to plot out what type of pop-ups you're going to be doing, whether it's in someone's home, whether it's in a store, everyone loves a theme, right? So if you're going to reach out to people and they want to have a themed event, spring showers, bring May flowers, something to do with, again, with the spring holidays, Mother's Day and Father's Day, something around July 4th when July comes, but you're not going to do that in July for July 4th. You're going to do that in the weeks preceding. So again, that's going to take sort of more, planning and strategizing and filling in the blanks of when you're reaching out during January and February, for example. You're going to be planning a March Madness show during March. And you're going to be planning shows around giftables for, Mother's Day and Father's Day, with those holidays being in May and June. So again, just remember how helpful. And someone's asking what a pop-up is. So a pop-up can be something where you're bringing Limelight into someone's home and you've got a hostess, or you can do a pop-up like a trunk show in a retail store, a spa, salon, something of that sort. So lots of different ways that you can do pop-ups. But again, that's part of your business. That's a way to get into new networks. Are you going to be doing more of like, craft fairs, or not craft fairs, I'm trying to think of the right word, holiday gift shows or country club shows. That's what I'm trying to say. Around the holidays, right? Well, for example, if you're planning out your year and you're planning out your quarter, those holiday shows, those start booking up, soon. Those really can book up quite early in advance. So again, if you're looking at your calendar and wanting to do, maybe you've got a goal of getting out of your network, right? Getting out of your network. Those shows are never going to be quite the high sales shows. They're going to be great networking shows. But that's something that you can plan now to reach out for the holiday time, knowing that those book up so early. So again, all of these, in fact, in terms of your themes, in terms of strategizing and planning for the holidays, takes time, and you need to think that through. If you are going to be creating your own marketing images, of course, that takes time. You need to incorporate that into your planning so you can do that ahead of time. Then for example, in regard to sponsoring and how planning ahead can affect your sponsoring. Well, for example, right now, we all know that teachers during the summer have a lot more free time. In the spring, that's when I really start circling back to, a lot of teachers are so busy during the year. Of course, many of them want to jump into limelight, but they have that much more free time and availability during the summer. And it's really a time in the late spring where I say to them, listen, you've got summer coming. What a great time for you to enhance your life and have more fun and take this on the road with you during summer travel. So it's not that you're not going to be reaching out in terms of sponsoring teachers and that network during all year, but you sure are going to encourage them knowing that coming summertime, they're going to be, and yes, there's Lisa, that's you. During that time of year, it's going to be a better time for them. So again, that might not be something that you would realize unless you planned ahead and really thought about that and strategized. And it is something that's really worth, because again, our business is so much about personal touch, right? It's about being a personal beauty guide and bringing the personal touch to that person, whether it's, again, a personal reason you think they should be a hostess, the theme idea for them, you think that would be so much fun. People that have maybe a pool, maybe a pop-up around the pool in the summer, great. But again, strategize that. Who are your friends that you're going to reach out to at that time of year that might have a pool that would be a perfect summer hostess? So again, all these fun ideas can really be ways to really plan out your business. Then with coaching, knowing that we have amazing monthly incentives, we have amazing, as we know, just got back from Aruba. Yay. Fantastic trip. But again, when you are coaching your team and people are going for big goals like that, it is always fun to do some small incentives. We all know that can be a lot of fun, but maybe there's a time where you're going to work those more than other times. If there's already incentive going from the company, maybe that's not a time where you need to be incentivizing your team, for example. So again, you can plan out and budget your incentives for your team however much you want, but knowing that if you're planning it out and you need to take that into account financially, you can do that based around the other incentives that we've got going on from home office. And again, a lot of this really comes into not reacting to everything. It's about planning forward, looking forward at your business and seeing, how you can sort of really take control of it, anticipate, but also take advantage. I think so many times people, if they haven't planned ahead, they kind of have that, oh God, I didn't even realize I totally forgot. Or, I wish I had planned more around the fact that this holiday was coming up. And, so much of that. Yes, we have our hats off incentive, Julianne. That's right. So again, just, a lot of ideas for you to remember. And then again, social media is huge, and we know, and having a marketing plan in place, that can be a whole nother bucket that you can plan out. And again, that's something that I try to do. I look at it definitely on a monthly basis to look at what I've been, most recently doing in my marketing in terms of whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, what elements of the business have I really been talking more about, less about, filling in the blanks. We do something for our team where it's an actual monthly schedule. And then on a weekly basis, I'm putting out ideas of what people could be talking about in their marketing. But again, that's a plan that you can put in place. And again, that also can be around holidays. That can also be around, incentives that are going on with the company. I mean, take into account that we always do have a monthly incentive, usually have a monthly incentive. So those really will come into play. But again, whether it's literally just getting out your calendar, every Sunday and looking to see what you're going to do. And then again, it also comes back to your time management, having that a part of your calendar, your coaching, your, time management with your marketing plan and taking the time to do your social media. I think that's becoming more and more a part of everyone's world. I think when I started direct sales about 8 years ago, it was way less. I mean, I use social media, but really not to the point that I think we all are now. And yes, Jennifer, I think the monthly plan is a really big deal. And again, this is going to be a little bit different for everyone. This is going to also be very much one of those things where you're going to have to tweak it a little bit. And maybe it doesn't feel right to you. Maybe working it by quarter isn't the right thing for you. Maybe it's better weekly, and then you're doing it monthly. But again, I think as long as you're taking all the different buckets of the business into account, that's really what's most important. Some other ideas for you of things that you really should make sure you're planning out are, again, if you do have a local team, quarterly and monthly meetups. If you have people that are not local, maybe it's a team call that's all, by Zoom or by phone, whatever works best for you. But again, planning that out. It can be about month end. It can be about kicking off the month. But again, have that planned out. And then another thing too, with hosting pop-ups, again, look at your own calendar. Are you doing something where it's once a quarter? Are you doing a theme for your own pop-ups? I'm trying to really get out of my own network right now. I did, of course, my launch. I've had a few big shows at my house, but now I'm really trying to take my business, for example, and really get into other homes, get into, pop-ups in stores that I've never been. And I think that is always great because everyone wants to have new customers. It's a very important part of our business, is to keep growing and getting a bigger network. You don't want to sit and stay in your own network. That's not going to, get you to that next level. So again, I think that's really important, is to figure out when you're going to be doing your own versus reaching out for pop-ups. And then how many pop-ups are you going to be planning to do? Customer emails. I think it's very important to always keep Limelight top of mind for your customers. You're their personal beauty guide. So again, I don't ever find I get a lot of business from that. I'm not getting a ton of sales from it. But again, like the holiday shows, like some of these pop-ups, it's really more about getting Limelight out there, having you be associated with the brand for them, getting a customer loyalty. So that's always really important. And again, planning that out. Like right now, I had done one for Q1. I had done one in February. And that was talking a little bit of our global expansion, a combination of things. And then, now it's spring and we've got the holidays coming up. I'll be talking about spring holidays. I'll be talking about, again, it's a little more information on global. And so all of these different facets. But again, you need to plan that out. And when are you doing them? Some people do them more often. Some people do them once a month for their customers. I have a VIP page. I don't want the same information on my customer emails that I'm doing once a quarter and my VIP page. And again, you're doing Instagram, you're doing Facebook, you're doing your VIP page. You're doing a lot of different marketing. Going back to the marketing plan for a sec. You want all of that to be different information. So that you don't feel very scattered and sort of all over. You can, right? One day you're over here, one day you're over there, but you want to make sure that you're getting a lot of information across in the best of ways that's consistent. But you want, as we all know, it's best to always have different information on all your different media channels. If I'm posting on Instagram about a lipstick, for example, I'm posting the opportunity on Facebook. I'm not mirroring those social media platforms. You really want it to always be different. And so again, sometimes you really need to plan for that because it can be a little overwhelming as to when you're going to do it. What, facets of the business, again, what bucket of the business are you going to be sharing? Opportunity events. Are you hosting opportunity events online? Are you doing them in person? Again, that's something you should look at weekly, more quarterly, because that's something you're going to plan ahead. But on a weekly basis, you can then be looking at your schedule to see where you're at that week. If you have one at the end of the week, for example, part of your weekly strategizing is when you're going to be doing the reminders, part of your marketing plan. It all keeps sort of working together. But again, if you're planning, hi Jen, it is really the best you can to have it all, working together. So I've been chatting for about a half an hour here. I'm just seeing if I've missed anything in my notes, and I want you to please ask any questions you have. I will scan through here. Let me just look at my notes, make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I think that's some of my main topics. But again, I think what's most important is I think the littlest tweaks in this business can lead to huge tweaks. And it's all about making adjustments. So, what I always say is, some people start this off and they're doing it on a, paper, process and tracking it paper-wise, then they move to computer. Whatever it is, if it, in terms of your strategic planning, think about what's going to work best for you. And again, if you're finding, like, for example, it may sound tedious, but if you can't even get it done where you can't sit down on a Sunday, that's the original time frame that you thought would work best, you can't even do that, then change it. Just don't feel, well, I can't do that, it's not working. Make the adjustment. Figure out the better time for it. Coaching calls, if they're not working on that time, adjust it. It's always about these little tweaks and adjustments, but staying consistent is really, really very key. Yes, if you don't have a plan, Jody, I agree. You can feel very scattered. Good. I'm so glad these are great ideas. If there's anything else that, you have more questions about that you want me to be more specific about, please post here. I'll be looking at the chat afterwards, of course, to give more ideas. But I think really, And especially for goal setting, one thing I wanted to say too is that, again, whether you're at the executive ranks or lower down, a lot of times you really need to work to the level you're getting to, right? You're not working at a level of, if you're a beauty guy, but you're trying to promote to lead, getting to lead takes more time, right? You're going to have a team. So you need to work at the amount of hours and the amount of time you're working to. That is for sure. And, figure out, do you have it planned out of how many new customers you'd like to have? How many new people that you would like to sponsor? How many are you reaching out to a day? There's the marketing rule of 7, where sometimes it takes about 7 points of contact for someone to really make a decision about a brand, whether it's trying a lipstick or joining a company. So you need to keep that accountable in your calendar. It's going to take some time, especially for sponsoring. It does not happen overnight. There are people on my team, half of them are probably listening right now. It didn't happen overnight, right? They needed things to change in their lives. But I needed to fit it into my planning to reach out, to continue to sponsor. And I needed it part of my calendar and accountability to make that happen. And let me just see what questions are coming in. Top YouTube planning tip. Well, Jennifer, I think a lot of times, you've got these VIP closed groups that we all do, and you're doing a lot of amazing videos in there. I think those are great ways. That's a great thing, to share those YouTube videos for sure. Share them from your VIP to YouTube. You know what? I really think whatever gets a lot of attention, whether you've got pop-ups and people are, what gets really the most attention, especially at this time of year. For example, part of your strategic planning can be in the middle of the winter. People are very pale. We don't want pale skin. Do a lot around the bronzing powder, liquid. I made that part of my strategic planning in February. I sold a ton of product because I was doing it right when people were dead of winter. And I was also talking about spring breaks in February and March. Again, I didn't miss the boat on that. I didn't miss the season because I'd made that part of planning. Let me see if I'm getting everyone's questions here. Let's see. Do you have a favorite planner you recommend? Hi, Maria. You know what? I'm a computer person, so I do a lot in my notes section of my phone. I'm not so much a spreadsheet person, but I do use the notes section of my iPhone, and I use a notebook. A lot of times I find people will print out, they'll copy the Be Amazing Guide worksheets, and they'll use that to plan out and put that in their notebook. I guess it really depends on if you're more of a computer or a paper person. Some people would love, I forget the name of, I'm forgetting the name of the planners that a lot of people use, that they get from Target. I don't even know because I'm not a paper person, but there are so many great tools out there. Maybe someone else wants to comment on what they use. But I am more of a computer organized person. Let me see if any other questions. I'm having trouble with first, second, third with all the training recommendations. I am new. So Ricky, in regard to training, I would, with so much training, there is a lot of information out there. Again, I would break down the business. I think that's really important. If you are setting up your schedule for the week and for example, you've got 5 hours to really dive into some training, break it down. 1 hour can be, on, best tips on sponsoring. One can be on makeup application. One can be on sales tips, sort of break down the different facets of the business. I think that'll help you. And then you'll also stay accountable because you'll see that you've worked on all the different areas. Hopefully that's helped you. Hi, Casey. The Happy Planner is awesome. Great. Thank you for that suggestion. So any other questions? If you have, please leave them here. And again, I'll be checking this afterwards for more questions that get asked, excuse me. But I think that the real key here, and I'll just sort of sum this up, is just make sure that you set aside the time to actually plan and strategize. And I can't encourage you enough. Again, daily, weekly, quarterly, and have a goal for the year, an overall goal. There can be a really big picture goal, but that has to get broken down really step by step. Have that time management that's going to go with it and try to figure out really breaking down how much time that's going to take you to really meet your goals. Know that you can tweak it if it needs to be tweaked. It doesn't have to be set in stone, but just make sure that you're staying consistent and efficient with that. breaking down the business. And again, the big facets are the holidays, sponsoring, selling, sharing, planning your pop-ups, your overall coaching. So as long as you're breaking that down and working with what your goals are, I think you'll be good to go. So, all right, everyone, I hope this was helpful. Again, please reach out if I can answer any other questions or give more tips. Thank you, Kristen. Nice to see you, sweetie. And have a good night, everyone. Happy Tuesday and have a great end of March. Cheers, everyone.